Real thoughts, real trades, real journey. A video journal documenting the lessons learned on my journey to becoming a disciplined trader. Welcome to Trading the Journey. I'm Neil, and today I want to share a trading day that taught me one important lesson. Let's see what the market had to teach me. Well, I'm not going to talk about the trades themselves. And from reviewing my journal, I may have fallen back into a pattern again. A while ago, before I started trying to nail down the discipline, there was a point where I seriously overtraded a lot. And I'm thinking, after reviewing yesterday's trade and reviewing the journal, taking most days in these last two phases, like 2 to 3 trades. But yesterday, I incidentally took 5 trades, and it was devastating. The first 4 trades, really, I wasn't emotional at all. I had no care whether I won or lost. I wasn't emotional at all. The last 2 trades were supposed to be on my sim account, but I didn't switch to my sim account for whatever reason. The 5th trade, I totally lost it. It was the biggest day in a while that really, I think, affected me. I don't know what to think of myself. I honestly don't know where to go from here. Maybe I should just go back to enforcing maybe just doing 1 trade a day, and that's it. I don't know. I took 5 trades, and it wasn't a great day at all. On top of that, the last 2 trades were not of my normal plans. I was trying something else, which is why I normally would switch to my sim account and try these trades. I have Take Profit Trader as my prop firm, and I'm going to keep plugging away to become consistent. I'm real confused. I don't know what's working for me. I don't know. It just seems like the last couple weeks have just been really weird days in the market where I don't know if I should have a different trading plan for a market moving, not really moving in a way. As you can see from the chart on my screen right now, you see what it did yesterday. It was almost kind of a double bottom, but not quite. It turned right after, about 2:30 and started an uptrend, and it's still on an uptrend. We're in the pre-market this morning. It starts at 4 a.m. The overnight session starts at 6 p.m. But as you can tell by the sound of my voice, I'm not very happy, I guess. And I can tell you one thing, though. A lot of this comes from financial pressure. I'm trying to do what I can to make a few $100 extra a month, with no band to play with, it's tough on my soul, man. You know, I kind of relied on music to bring in a little extra cash. Most of my acting jobs don't bring in money. I will say that I am now going to be working my first feature film in Atlanta um, towards the end of the year. You know, I'm locked in for my supporting role, and I'm excited about that. But my day job doesn't provide me a whole lot of freedom to do acting on a regular basis, which is why I'm trying to create multiple streams of income to replace my day job and do what I want to do full time, which is acting. You know, that's why I have the YouTube channel, so I could monetize, build it, and create a stream of income there. You know, that's why I started trading again back in April or May or March, you know, whichever month I have documented. I you know, back earlier that time, you know, and discovered futures. You know, that's why I play music for extra income. You know, that's why I do digital art for extra income. And, you know, it just seems like I'm just struggling and struggling and struggling when all I want is, you know, until things can take off, is just a few extra $100 a month, you know, which would increase my monthly income, obviously. So just to quickly kind of go over the trades a little bit, the first 3 trades were valid A+ setups. They were valid. Nothing I can really say about the losses. They were valid. I took them, cut my losses. That was it. You know, and then I started looking at something else, maybe unconsciously or subconsciously without realizing it. Maybe I started looking for another strategy that would fit. And maybe in the back of my mind, maybe subconsciously, I was confused. I started confusing myself instead of shutting it down for the day and taking the weekend. And I continued on. And, you know, and then the day just didn't turn out that great. I know I keep circling back to that and repeating myself. It's minor character flaw. I keep repeating myself. So, yeah. Maybe I need to go back to just one trade a day. I don't know. But not following my normal plays, and it was just terrible. So, thank you for joining me for today's lesson. The market has voted. Today's lesson is written. I hope something from today's trade helps you on your own journey toward becoming a more disciplined trader. If today's trade reminded you of something you've experienced yourself, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your perspective. If you enjoyed today's journal entry, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button on the video and subscribe to follow the journey. Until next time, real thoughts, real trades, real journey.